Welcome back to the channel.
Today we are doing another Awkward Chats
Podcast preview. Yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about our excitement over spending a couple months in California.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a lot of contracts in Cali all of a sudden. And we're going to kind of explore from Southern California to like mid-California and possibly Northern California.
And if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe to the channel.
So come get lost with us.
So for those on YouTube just joining us, welcome. We've already talked about some April Fool's jokes that made history, Donate Life Month, and our excitement about being homeless.
Yeah, so if you guys want to get the nitty gritty on our homeless situation,
check out anywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever, and look for Awkward Chats.
So we're going to segment into this next segment. I'm going to segment into the segment. But we are excited about some future trips. Like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I've got a lot of contracts in California coming up. And currently I'm going to LA a bunch. And they kind of like have us drive around a lot. I work pretty much the whole time when I'm in LA. But it's nice like towards the end of the contract or like at the beginning of the contract to try and like get out, go do something, find something within the city. It's hard to do when I'm working every day. I just don't get a lot of downtime on this contract, but I enjoy the work I do. So not really a huge complaint on that side. But after we move out, like I was mentioning before, we're going to basically Sacramento. And we'll be in the greater Sacramento area and wherever they send me because they do cover like Northern California, the group that I'm going to work with. So I'll get to see a lot of that. I don't know how much downtime I'm going to get there, but we'll see. And then when that contract is over, we basically have 5 days where I don't have anything, but we don't have a house. Kind of goes back to the whole homeless thing. We don't have a house to go back to. So we're like, how about we just stay? Because it doesn't make sense to fly somewhere. That's just an added cost. I'm already going to be back in the San Francisco area after it's over. And yes, I said San Francisco, but I was going to be in Sacramento. They kind of cover both areas. And so we're going to do 5 days in San Francisco. And we're going to explore that because San Francisco has been on our list.
For a while now. And
I know I've heard lots of things about crime in San Francisco. And there's not a whole lot of stuff on YouTube about like food and anything like that. But there are several things that I do want to see. Like I want to go to Alcatraz. I want to see the Golden Gate Bridge. And then I just somehow found out that the Walt Disney Family Museum is in San Francisco.
Yeah, and Pier 39 as well.
Yeah, Fisherman's Wharf, which is the inspiration for Pixar, and Pixar is also in San Francisco, but we don't know
anybody. Yeah.
We can't
get a tour. If you know somebody at Pixar, let us know. We'd be happy to go on a tour, but we don't know anybody.
If you know anybody, please, by all means, we would love to take a tour of Pixar.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll get there. But yeah, we're gonna spend a couple days, explore a couple of those places, and then also take a day or two to just kind of recoup. And those will be coming out on the channel soon enough. And then I go back for like another 7 days, and then we're gonna fly back to Vegas, figure out where we go from there. That part we haven't figured out yet.
We haven't fully figured it out yet. I'm excited. Like we thought about last year renting like a Airbnb or even hoteling it in like LA or something and just staying there for like a week, seeing if we like living in a big city, because we've never really lived in a downtown section of a big city. We've lived in big cities. We've just never lived in that downtown area. So we wanted to give it a try. We don't have pets anymore, which is typically the deterrent that we had in the past to keep us away from the downtown. But we wanted to try it. And I think this is an opportunity to see if we even like it. And we might not, but we might.
And I don't mind LA. Now, I'm going to be honest. LA traffic, that's different.
Yeah, well, it's one of the busiest cities on the planet.
It's not terribly much different than Atlanta traffic. I do think people in LA, please don't come at me, don't like to use their turn signals. They freeball it all over the freeway, and they do some crazy shit there. So like motorcycles can go between cars. That's nerve wracking. You got to be like, oh God, here goes. Like, you know, you just have to be aware of your surroundings there. I think that's the biggest thing. And then always just give yourself enough time to get where you need to go, which can be daunting. A place that should only take you about 45 minutes to get to takes you 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which, when my sister lived in LA, she used to tell me all the time. She's like, it takes me 2 hours to go from here to just go to Target. And I'm like, that's a commitment.
That is a commitment, yeah.
At that point, I think I would just have everything delivered to my apartment and never go to a store again.
Yeah, we're kind of interested in living in that downtown, trying to live without a car, basically, and like go to the grocery store without a car, live without a car, just for a little bit, just to see what it's like. That's it. So that's kind of our focus if we try this. Now, again, we talked about it even before moving out of here. We talked about doing it, and whether it be LA, we talked about Seattle. We talked about
downtown Atlanta.
Talked about downtown Atlanta, yeah. So it's like a big city.
I don't think New York City I would ever try.
No, we didn't. It was actually sparked by our New York City trip, though, because we were like, we can do this, because we had been sort of hesitant to try it for a long time because we didn't want to live like that. Plus, with animals, it's hard. It's very difficult with animals. Yeah.
So now we've got this opportunity where we have the ability to travel financially, resource-wise. It's just how long do we want to do it? I mean, I think if we tried it for the summer, that might be a fun summer, a legit summer road trips. And like, because Route 66 is on my list of things I want to drive.
Well, I was going to talk about that too. So that's kind of the one, was living downtown. But then there's a bunch of other places. Like we want to go and see the big redwoods, the Sequoia, do that drive up to Washington. We'd
Highway
like to do
1,
that.
I think is what it's called.
And then Route 66. We'd also like to do completely Route 66, which goes from Chicago to basically the pier in California. Really want to do that one too. So there's 2 that we want to do, but we have to get a car that we'd like to do that trip in. Yeah. So that's kind of been our hesitancy. We like Volti, but Volti doesn't like the hills.
No.
So she would not do well in the Sequoia.
Cold. Yeah. It has to be the perfect temperature.
Yeah.
And the perfect road conditions.
She would not do well on the Sequoia trip because there's a lot of mountains there. So I don't think that would be.
So we've been talking about, well, do we leave the car at like my father-in-law's house and then we just fly and rent a car? Which is always an option. We did that for our road trip in New York. We flew into Buffalo, rented a car in Buffalo, and took it back when we went to the airport in New York City. Yeah. It costs a little bit more money to do that, but honestly, it was a fantastic option. It was big enough for 4 people with 5 suitcases. Everybody was comfortable, had plenty of leg room, and if something happens to it, it's a rental. Yeah. I'm not putting the miles on Volti. Which, as she gets older, which she's pretty old, but as she gets older in mileage, you start to think about those things more, I think. Yeah. Because we want to preserve her for as long as possible. Now, she's a Gen 1 Volt. 2012. She's over 10 years old. Is 14. No, she's 12. She's 12. 12 years old. And the Gen 1s have reportedly, from people who have been driving Gen 1s, have been driving them upwards past 300, 500,000 miles without having to replace the main battery. Now, they've had to do other maintenance to it, but in terms of the core of what makes that car run, it's had a good track record. Now, the later generations do not have as good of a track record, which is why I went with the older one versus the newer one, which, honestly, it's really funny. We made a video about buying that car. It's on the YouTube channel.
It is. Yep. The whole experience is on the YouTube channel. Yeah,
so you guys can check out day 1 of trying to learn an electric vehicle, where to charge it. Like it was a whole learning curve for us.
Which is funny because the East Coast, especially Florida, was better preprepared for an electric vehicle than we found at the West Coast at all. Yeah. Like La Vegas has nothing. California has a little bit, but their infrastructure is so underdeveloped in comparison to Florida, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. So we're not going to probably take Volti unless it's probably local trips. Like if we stay with my father-in-law, we were talking about doing goats on the roof, like we've been trying to do.
Yeah, we've been there 3 times now, and it's always closed.
And just kind of doing some of the little nichey stuff that we've been wanting to do. Plus, if there's a third place that feels like home, it's there. Mm-hmm. It feels good. Like it's a good place to recharge and just kind of salt of the earth. Like get back to nature.
Yeah.
It's peaceful. It's quiet. It's a slower pace of life. The hardest part is finding food from restaurants. If you're willing to cook your own food, it's not bad.
Yes.
But
yes, very true.
it's beautiful in April, May. Like that's typically the time you can have the windows open and have that fresh breeze as the flowers are blooming. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful time to be in the mountains. So who knows?
Enjoy it before the snow.
But if you guys have any thoughts out there in YouTube land, or if you're listening on the podcast, where we should land, by
Let
all
us know.
means, leave us a comment.
Yeah, we'd like to hear your thoughts. Like, where should we go?
Yeah. Also, if you have an idea of a place we should check out for this potential legit summer playlist, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to play out. But if we get enough ideas, maybe we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
also, I would like to throw this out there. If you guys watch our YouTube channel or you listen to us on the podcast, we have collected postcards from basically everywhere we have been in the last 4 years. 4 years, okay? That stack is huge. And we would love to actually start sending these out. So we're going to get a P.O. box situation set up during this move because we got to have a place for the mail to go. And once we get that P.O. box, we're going to definitely post it to our website, which is Lost Girl Productions.
lostgirlintommorrowland.com.
We're going to post it to the website. But if you guys are interested, by all means, it'll be on our Instagram. We'll put it on the website once we actually officially get it there. And we want to get you guys like some stickers, postcards.
Yeah, if you're watching us on YouTube, the website is in the description.
So, yeah. So we'd love to show some of this love.
Right back to you.
Because we've been getting a lot of love. A lot of hate, too, which I'm fine with. But we've been getting a lot of love lately. And it's been interesting having more people engage with our content and leaving us comments outside of like our DAS video or like a random video.
Mm-hmm.
People have just been really kind.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
So we want to kind of give back a little bit outside of a video, and that's the best way I can think of to do it. So leave us a comment and be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Check out our website and definitely keep an eye on it because in the next month or so, we'll definitely have a P.O. box up there.
Yeah.
So that ends our podcast for the day.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube and you like the video, please hit that thumbs up.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
And ring that notification bell so you get notified when we do at least 3 videos a week.
And we will definitely come and get you guys for the next one.
Ain't that the truth, baby Ruth? Bye, everybody.
Bye.